The adults are back in charge. Isn't that what they told us 4.5 years ago now when the other guy came in?
Come on, man.
Well, after plenty of death and destruction around the world, including in the Middle East, we look to have come to a conclusion, and you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But the big breaking news yesterday that came down in the late afternoon, Israel and Hamas agree to a deal that would release all Israeli hostages held in the Gaza Strip in the first step towards peace after 2 years of war in the region. Almost 2 years to the day since Hamas and its allies went into Israel and killed about 1,200 people on that fateful October 7th, 2023 day. And now, as part of this deal, it is believed there are about 20 living hostages of the 250 people kidnapped 2 years ago this week, and that they will be released, as the President of the United States said last night on Fox News, as soon as possibly Monday.
The big thing is hostages are going to be released. It's probably, our time would be probably Monday. And, you know, they're a terrible situation. They're deep in the earth, and they're being gotten, and a lot of things are happening right now. As we speak, so much is happening to get the hostages freed, and we think they'll all be coming back on Monday. So it looks like that's the thing, and that'll include the bodies of the dead.
As only Trump can describe it, they are deep in the earth, but now they're coming back. So this is actually not about the adults being back in charge. This is about getting rid of the substitute teacher. And that's who Joe Biden was. He was the sub. We had peace around the world during Donald Trump's first term. It was in many ways like Ronald Reagan, a peace through strength approach. Except in Donald Trump fashion, it was basically, don't screw with us or you're going to be in big trouble. That was Trump's kind of Queens-ish style and approach to global affairs. And guess what? It worked. Joe Biden gets in, and you start to see an unraveling on the world stage. You have the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. That was a complete and utter joke. That led, of course, to what happened in Ukraine and Russia, where Putin says, this is my chance. This guy is totally weak. And then, of course, you have Hamas going into Israel and slaughtering 1,200 people in the worst day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And now, guess what? The substitute teacher's out. You remember those days back in school. I mean, you know, you might throw a paper airplane. You might find yourself playing, with a buddy in the back of the classroom. You might not be paying full attention because you know for at least a day, unfortunately, in the case of the world, it was 4 years, you had a substitute teacher. You could take a little time off. You could do what you wouldn't normally do. That's what we had. But now Trump finds his way back into the White House. And yeah, sure, you know, he had his Trumpisms going into the Oval Office of, I'll fix this war in a day and I'll fix this war in a week. And you just give me 5 minutes, I'll have all this stuff straightened out. But that goes back to the old adage of you take Trump seriously, you don't have to take him literally. And this is a prime example of that. Hamas leadership knows that Trump's not the guy that you want to screw with. And by the way, if you read some of the reports over the last 12 hours or so, Trump also put it to Bibi Netanyahu and said, listen, you guys may not want to end this thing right now, but you need our help. You need our support on the world stage. It's coming to an end. Bibi got some pressure here as well. Let's be clear about that. Whether Bibi Netanyahu wanted this thing to end or not, it was going to end. Because without our support, without Trump's help, without Trump's full endorsement, it would get ugly for Bibi over there. And Bibi knew that. So we held, I don't want to say all the cards, but damn, we held a lot of them. And we used them and we flexed them on the world stage. And a big credit to the president and his team for getting this done. It's better for everybody around the world. Now, I don't think it solves everything that we've got when it comes to issues here back at home. And I understand that. There are going to be a lot of people today that are like, okay, this is great, but what does it mean for me? What's the net benefit for my life in the short term? Now, it's good. I understand it. You know, that part of the world was a mess, and this is a great thing to have a war end. But I also know it feels like, well, my day-to-day hasn't changed. My costs are too high. I feel like I can't get ahead. We've got a ton of issues still in this country. We've got a government that's now shut down for going on a week plus. All those things are fair to bring up. And that's where it's like, what this does and what I'm hopeful this accomplishes is it really opens up the president and the White House team to now refocus their energy elsewhere. If you think about it, I mean, time is a zero-sum game. If you are spending time during your day trying to solve this war in Ukraine and Russia and this war between Israel and Hamas, it just takes away from other things you could otherwise be doing. And that's why I think Trump was getting frustrated here over the last few months, because he was like, I just want to get this done because I want to check it off my list. You know, you have those things, you go into the office this morning, and those things that just nag at you that are always on the list. And it's not always your fault. It's like you can't get your colleague to do something that would take him 5 minutes. You need the boss to do something that, you know, they maybe haven't done yet. That's just keeping that thing naggingly on your list of things to do. That's what this was to Trump. He knows he's got to do it. He promised the American people and the world he would do it, but he can't get it done, and it's not necessarily his fault because it takes 2 or 3 to tango, depending on what you're talking about here. So that's what Trump has been dealing with now for the better part of 9 months. But he finally got himself to a place where he was able to get a deal done. And if you didn't see the video yesterday, Trump's in a meeting and Marco Rubio comes up to him and whispers in his ear. And it was eerily reminiscent of one of the most iconic videos and images in modern American history. And it was the image of George W. Bush being informed of the September 11th attacks. His then chief of staff, Andrew Card, whispers in his ear, a second plane hit the tower, America's under attack. And at the time, George W. sitting in Sarasota, Florida, in an elementary school reading to school children. And he's sitting there and he's trying to figure out how to react and what to do when he knows the country's under attack after the second tower was hit on September 11, 2001. It was eerily similar yesterday when Marco Rubio gets into the ear of the president and hands him a note.
Criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just given. I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly. So I will take a couple of more questions.
Only Trump says, you know, we might have a peace deal here. I got to go. But first, let me get a couple more questions from you guys. He just can't help himself, man. That's what makes him tick. He loves those questions. He loves beating up the media. I'll do a couple more. I'll let the show go on for just a little bit longer. But then I got to go figure out what's going on with this peace deal I've been working on for the better part of 9 months. So obviously very different approaches. But the whisper, if you have not seen the video, I'll repost it on X at Pete Mundo. You can see it there. It is eerily similar to the video of Andrew Card whispering in the ear of George W. Bush. So it's a great day for the world. It will hopefully bring more peace to the Middle East. I will never sit here and tell you that this is like, oh, man, everything's solved in that part of the world. You'd be nuts to believe that. But if this brings the current tension, the current crisis to an end for the time being, because the substitute teacher's gone and the permanent teacher is back, well, that's good for all of us. 6:14 on a Thursday morning on KCMO Talk Radio. There are 2 major stories that are getting a lot of attention locally, and we'll dive into those coming up next on 95.7 FM KCMO. We got 2 big news items coming out of yesterday here in Kansas City. Good morning, 6:19. It was 58 degrees walking out the door. Not like yesterday. It was like down in the upper 40s, but man, it just felt good to not be sweltering in October. Gosh, that was nice. But no, it was not the weather. First off, Joshua Rocha, the man who was convicted of killing North Kansas City police officer Daniel Vasquez during a routine traffic stop in July of 2022. Well, the jury came back and recommended the death penalty. He will be formally sentenced on November 24th at 1 p.m. This was the first time in 30 years that Clay County sought the death penalty in a case. And Zachary Thompson is the Clay County prosecutor who worked the case. He is going to join us at 8 o'clock this morning here on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. So if you're not normally here, I know if you're an early bird, try to make sure you're streaming us on the website, kcmotalkradio.com, or your KCMO Talk Radio app at 8 o'clock. Zachary Thompson will be here to talk about why he sought the death penalty and how this case went up in Clay County and North Kansas City in the wake of the death of Daniel Vasquez. So that came down yesterday, and these jurors were from St. Charles, Missouri area. So they're from the other side of the state. And they were sequestered during the trial and penalty phase in Clay County. And they came back yesterday and recommended the death penalty. Now, and as I've said all week long, I know that this is not what a talk show host is supposed to do. But as a longtime supporter of the death penalty, I have been wavering on that topic just in my own mind over the last several weeks. But one thing that I come to peace with is that this is basically something that was determined by the government and then a jury of Joshua Rocha's peers. And they deliberated for a while, and they came back and decided that the death penalty was the right call for Joshua Rocha. And I'm not going to sit here and lose any sleep over it, but I do admit that that topic in particular is one that I've internally fought over more and more over the last, even couple of years of my life. But we'll talk to Zachary Thompson, get the details on it coming up at 8:05 here on KCMO Talk Radio. And then we got Kay Barnes yesterday as the temporary Jackson County executive, taken over for upwards of 30 days from Frank White. So she's only going to be in the role. She's the former Kansas City mayor. She was in that office from 99 to 07. She is now 87 years old. And yesterday, she officially became the temporary Jackson County executive after Frank White got ousted by, of course, his own people. Last Tuesday, 85-15 was the vote to get rid of Frank White in that recall last week in Jackson County. So Kay Barnes is in. But one thing that Kay Barnes did say is that when it comes to the big issues, or at least the most controversial issues, she's going to stay out of it.
In terms of the complex issues the county is facing, I certainly do not see myself taking on any kind of strong initiative on any of those.
So she goes on to say that she obviously wants to see the Chiefs stay at Arrowhead, develop the complex. And then she goes on to say, I personally believe the Washington Square Park location is an excellent one for the Kansas City Royals. Well, that is where I'll have to tell Kay Barnes, you're dead wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Now, she's either optimistic or she has pictures, because she expects to be on the job a week because the legislature is supposed to pick her replacement right now. I'm not as optimistic as she is about that coming along very quickly.
I would agree with you there.
Okay.
She can do the job for up to 30 days, and she can't do it any longer than 30 days.
Right.
And based on the infighting in the legislature and the fact that there are 12 people who want to be the next executive through next year when the election happens, I'm with you, man.
If she can get it done, she gets a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah,
I think,
sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
Pick somebody in a week that everybody agrees on. More power to her.
I am totally with you there, John. But I'm also in agreement that is highly unlikely to happen.
So.
All right? So, because here's the thing. The Jackson County Legislature is meeting today at 10 a.m., and they're going to start the process of trying to find the interim county executive to replace Kay Barnes, who replaced Frank White. You following along now?
Programs. Your programs.
I know, this takes a little bit. I get it. So they're going to meet today at 10 o'clock, and they're still trying to figure out whether or not they should allow whoever the interim county executive is to be allowed to run for the office next year. That has not been decided. So you've got 12 people who want to be the next county executive. But then if they agree on the stipulation that you cannot run for election in 26, how many of those people drop out? Because you know and I know that someone like Deron McGee, who's on the legislature right now, he wants to be the interim because he believes it gives him a leg up to be the permanent county executive come next year's election.
I would imagine most of the 12 think similarly, right?
I totally
get in there and get started. It gives me a shot at the runway.
Absolutely. I mean, those 12 people are not doing it because they're just bored and looking for something to do. All right? I mean, go volunteer somewhere if you're looking to make a difference.
Yeah, my new membership to the club kicks in 2027. What would I do for a year?
Exactly. No, that's not what's going on here.
No.
These are people who either, want the power, want the little bit of local fame, whatever it might be. They want to be in the mix, especially at a time when the future of the Chiefs and the Royals is at stake. So there's a sex appeal to this as well that's undeniable. And you can, as the county executive, kind of be that person that comes in and saves the day, so to speak. And I think that motivates a lot of these people who do want to be the next county executive.
Well, let's face it, they all want to flaunt the title to get into 1587 a little sooner, right?
I'm sure that won't hurt, right? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. When's the next reservation available at 1587?
I don't know. Maybe November at the initial thing. They said it was all the way through October. So
I can't find one.
I imagine end of the year at this point.
Last I checked, I've not seen one.
Yeah.
But, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. There's a meeting today at 10 o'clock for the Jackson County legislator. So that will be interesting to follow. And if you were at the show last night, Phil Wickham had his show at Cable Dahmer Arena. We gave away tickets all morning long. I did hear from a couple of the winners. And it's funny, Mark? Someone told me they won the tickets, and they sent me an email. They said, I wanted to give them the mark, but then my wife found out I won the tickets, and she's like, no, we're going. So, people were looking out for you, man. They were looking out for you.
Bet it was a great show.
I'm sure it was.
Such a nice man.
Coming up on KCMO. Oh, no, not again with this guy. Jeez. We'll get you an update on, someone who is trying to basically thumb their nose at every American who loves this country and is about to have a big stage next. Thank you for looking at the rundown, Mark, and not playing Bad Bunny coming back, 6:34. It's good to be here on KCMO. Mark almost got himself fired the other day for bumping back with Bad Bunny, who's going to be doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl. And I don't know what the guy's saying. So, and now he's just, every time we find out more about this guy, Bad Bunny, he ticks me off. It's like clockwork now. So last night, Bad Bunny's at the Yankees playoff game, and this is going viral courtesy of TMZ. The dude is just sitting there. He's sitting out for God Bless America during the Yankees game. There is video of him sitting in the second, third row behind home plate. And while all of Yankee Stadium is standing up for God Bless America, what is he doing? He's just sitting there with his boys. Just, got to take a load off, Bad Bunny. Got to rest those legs before the Super Bowl coming up in 4 months, Don't want to get too tight. Don't want to, pull a muscle in your lower back or something. Had to be sitting, had to be resting. And to TMZ's credit, they're running the story, and it's getting a lot of attention, of Bad Bunny just sitting out, God Bless America. Now, if you've been to a Yankees game, it is a big part of, kind of the ambiance of Yankee Stadium, and, the whole crowd's into it. Everybody's singing. It's a big part of what they do, even though it's liberal New York. Most sports fans and most guys, especially today, are going to be into it, and it's a big moment for that stadium and that team. And Bad Bunny, knowing full well the cameras are on him, he's got a lot of controversy surrounding him. What does Bad Bunny do? He's just like, I'm going to sit. Like, if he was smart, if he at least wanted to pretend like he cared about some of the criticism he's gotten over the last week and a half or so, he would have at least just stood there. I'm not saying you got to have your hand over your heart. You got to have your hat off. You got to take the sunglasses off because, they all have to wear sunglasses in the middle of the night when the sun's been down for an hour and a half and the lights are on at the stadium. I know you got to look cool with the glasses. I get it. I'm not saying you got to do that. But my goodness, could you stand up? Is that too much to ask, knowing full well what you have been through over the last week? But I guess that's too much. I don't know what other conclusion to come to here, but I guess that is too much to ask of Bad Bunny. So, continuing to thumb the nose at all red-blooded Americans who are just sitting there and saying to themselves, you know what, can you show a little bit of appreciation for the country as you get set to perform the halftime show of the most Americana event that we have left in America? Can you show a little bit of appreciation, a little bit of, dare I say, respect?
Show some respect.
But apparently, that is just too much to ask. It happens.
Dios bendiga a los Estados Unidos.
Are you trying to get fired?
He could have sang it in his own language.
Is that God Bless America?
Yeah, he could have just stood up and sang it in his own language if he wanted to do something.
How long were you practicing that off mic just now?
I just looked it up. It's been a while since I spoke Spanish.
Well, I know you looked it up, Mark. I'm well aware that you were not just doing that off the top of your head. My point was, how long did you practice repeating what you just said in Spanish?
No, that was my first time. John can back me up.
Okay.
No,
All right.
I didn't hear it.
You weren't sitting there practicing.
No. No, I was thinking of the Eminem song, Will the Real Bad Bunny Please Stand Up? Please stand up.
Oh, that's well done.
That was me practicing on Mark.
That was you. Okay, I saw someone's lips moving over there on the other side of the glass. I wasn't sure who or why.
He's the bad bunny, the real bad bunny. All you other bad bunnies are... What's the next word? Imitators or haters or something? Will the real bad bunny please stand up?
Look at you.
Stand up.
That song's got to be 25 years old there, John. And
It's new to me. It just hit my radar.
John couldn't tell me what he had for breakfast yesterday, but he's quoting the real Slim
Heard it
Shady.
in the hallway.
Yeah.
Hey, we're playing that somewhere?
Oh,
One
really?
of our stations, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, really.
It's on the classic hit station at this point? Jeez.
I filed it for future reference, and I got to use it today.
Oh, you did. Nice job, man. Nice job. I don't know what we do about this, though. I mean, I'm just going to keep pointing out the hypocrisy of Bad Bunny, who wants to enjoy all the lavishes and the lifestyles of the United States while basically just dumping on the United States at the same time. And nothing drives me more nuts than that. But you know what? We'll keep pointing it out. And maybe the NFL is not going to change course, but gosh dang. You know why they're not going to change course? Because they know that people like you and I are going to watch it. They know that. So they're trying to bring in a new audience, even though they're getting 120 million people to watch the game. They're going to try to bring in a new audience, knowing full well that you and I will watch it. 913-408-7957 is how you join us on KCMO Talk Radio. Let's squeeze in Steven. He's in KCK. What's up, Steve?
No, Pete, what is going on here, man? I think Goodell enjoys tweaking us because, listen, this guy is like putting Ricky Martin on the stage. He's got one hit with Cardi B. It's I Like It Like That. Say he's got one record, okay? I know they want to expand the audience, but this is going to be an absolute disaster. Goodell needs to step in and then tell Jay-Z, said, we got to go country. We got to go with Kane Brown. We got to go with the big guy. They have got to get control of this because this is spinning complete. The Super Bowl is supposed to unite everybody. It's supposed to be, oh man, wasn't it great when Prince was out there? You know, I mean, I'm old, but I mean, that's what I remember. That it was a celebration. This guy is turning into an anti-hero. I mean, I don't know what the NFL is thinking. This is the natural ally of the end racism, second national, playing of the second national anthem, all this nonsense. Roger Goodell has institutionalized DEI, and this is the outcome.
We'll see. I mean, I'm with you, Stephen. I mean, I miss the days of Prince and the Stones, and listen, even Springsteen. We all know his politics. I love the guy's music, but he went up there and he played the hits, and rah rah America and the Super Bowl. Man, that's what it's about. Man, this guy, Bad Bunny. Now, I will say he's got more than one hit. To your point, he's a massive global superstar, but. I never thought I'd say it, Stephen, but I'm with you. I would take a little Ricky Martin. I'd take a little Ricky Martin right now over Bad Bunny.
I take it. I would take anything over what we're about to get. Last year was bad enough, but boy, man, they're gonna have to give Bad Bunny about 5 or 6 co-stars to smooth this thing over.
You're stepping all over Ricky. Stop talking. You're stepping all over Ricky. Sing it, Steven.
Come on.
One more time, Steve. He's gone.
La musica, Bad Bunny, Ricky Martin.
Oh, Steven, he didn't want to have one more chorus in him, I guess. Oh, well, that's okay.
My Spanish teacher in 8th grade really loved Ricky Martin, and I could never get into it.
That makes 2 of us there. Oh, my goodness.
Christina Aguilera, all right, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a favorite back in the day. No doubt about it. So Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, he told TMZ yesterday that he thinks that Lee Greenwood should do the halftime show. I mean, I'm not going that. I mean, what's he going to do? Guy's got one song. I mean, I'm all about Lee getting in the mix for the halftime show. But
everybody in the East End zone only. All right, all you guys in the upper deck.
If you missed it, by the way, Mike Johnson was on the show yesterday with us here on KCMO Talk Radio. And, I could have gone there with this whole Bad Bunny commentary. I chose not to, but Mike Johnson did tell me that I could break the FCC rules this week if you missed it. We appreciate the time, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to our mutual friend, Congressman Mark Alford, for helping set this up as well. And just so I know, if the FCC is shut down right now and there's a Kansas City radio host that says something that's not FCC compliant, can he get in trouble while the FCC is shut down or no?
I tell you what, when you got a champion like Mark Alford and the other Missouri Republicans working for you, you're going to be just fine, my brother. I'll help you out as well. Hang in there.
All right, Mr. Speaker, thanks so much. I could have pushed the envelope there because Bad Bunny gets me all worked up. I mean, this guy's really starting to piss me off, but...
That Bad Bunny
No! It's okay.
We were close.
FCC's shut down. Speaker Johnson says we're in the clear. It's all good, man. We say whatever we want here, okay? I mean, I literally have the audio of one of the most powerful people in the entire United States telling me to basically say whatever the heck I want. So you think this show's been a little off the rails lately? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet, especially during the shutdown. FCC's not working. Brendan Carr's on a beach somewhere. Speaker Johnson says I'm good to do whatever I want. So we're all set here.
Just the host, though, not the callers.
Not the...
No.
Well... should we test it? Let's see. Could be a fun day. I'm about to do my absolute best, all right? I'm trying my hardest here. It's like I tell my girls whether to go into school, they got a soccer game, just give it your all, honey. Well, I'm going to give them my all here on this and try to make this as painless and as simple as possible. I've largely avoided it because it does get into some of the weeds. But I'm going to keep this as high level for all of us. Maybe you haven't had the coffee yet at 8:21 in the morning. That's fine. I'm here for you. We've got a government shutdown. The question is why? And to put it in its most simplistic terms, you have the Democrats who want to go out there and want to see the Obamacare subsidies continue on at the same rate they've been at for the last several years. You have Republicans who are saying the subsidies for Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it, is costing the country too much money. The system is breaking right in front of our eyes. We got rid of it with the One Big Beautiful Bill. We've got to extend this. We've got to figure out a better solution for health care in this country. That's the crux of what's happening right now. And yesterday, the Wall Street Journal puts out this piece, Who Gets Health Care Subsidies Under the Affordable Care Act? And it shows a map of the United States, and it shows the percentage growth in Obamacare marketplace signups from 2022 to 2025. And you see some of the states that have had the largest percentage increase in signups for Obamacare are in red states. Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, they have seen increases of over 150% in Obamacare signups over the last 5 years. Kansas and Missouri, we have seen an increase of between 100 and 150%. of people turning to the Affordable Care Act, turning to Obamacare. So Democrats are saying, well, we've got to keep subsidizing this thing because more people than ever are relying on it. Here's the problem. It's broken. It has failed. If you go back to when Obamacare started, you look at all the increases that have happened in this country when it comes to health care over the last 10 to 15 years. It's astronomical. When the Affordable Care Act took effect in 2010, the average family health care premium, health insurance premium, was about $13,000. And we were told that because of this great piece of legislation, it would bring costs down. Well, like everything else government touches, the quality got worse and the cost went up. Today, the average family is paying a premium of $24,000. Now, if you're like, wait, inflation. Okay. If we took that $13,000 and adjusted it for inflation, the average premium today would be about $19,000. It's $24,000. The average family is now paying the equivalent of one or two major surgeries in just premiums without seeing any real value. Deductibles end up eating up the benefits for those who rarely use the care anyway. And what's happened since the Affordable Care Act was passed? Life expectancy going down, chronic disease rates keep going up, obesity is at an all-time high. Maybe it's starting to peak and go down. That's only because everyone's on Ozempic now, let's be honest. This is not a healthier America. The Affordable Care Act is not affordable. It may be affordable if it's subsidized heavily by the taxpayer, but that doesn't mean it's a good system. That doesn't mean it's an effective. We're band-aiding this thing at $37 trillion in debt. That's all we're doing. And ask yourself this, all right? I mean, this is what I'm about to say here is really in no way political. It's just a fact. In 2022, Democrats had the presidency, they had the House, they had the Senate. If they were so concerned about the Obamacare credits and the subsidies for this Affordable Care Act, they could have made it permanent. They chose not to. Why? Because they can use it as a political weapon. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And that's all they've got, right? They develop these big government programs. These programs end up largely being failures. They cost more money than they were ever intended to cost. You have to dump more money into it to try to fix it. And then if you take a step back and you say, you know, I don't think this is working. It's costing us too much money. There's probably a better way to do this. Same old trick every time. Oh, yeah? Throw grandma right off that cliff. Oh, yeah? You don't want people to have health insurance? They break it. It gets worse. And then if you propose, hey, what's a way to fix this? They say you're part of the problem. I mean, and you know what? I got to give them credit. It does work for them. Like, it does, politically speaking, it does work for them. It's totally disingenuous, but it works for them. Like, I'm not going to lie, it works. But that's what you're seeing play out right now. That's exactly what this is at its core. Because all the increases in premiums under the Obamacare plan have been paid for by the taxpayer. The taxpayer is set, under the current way things are set up, the taxpayer is set to pay 80% of the cost of Obamacare premium increases next year. It's not being paid for by the people that have Obamacare. And by the way, the people that are using the Affordable Care Act are not necessarily all like poor people at all. It's people who run small businesses. It's people who maybe aren't offered insurance if they work for a small business. It's not about somebody under a certain economic threshold. It's used by a lot of people. About 25 million people have it. But think about it. If you have to subsidize health insurance premiums for people making $120,000 a year, which is what we're talking about here in some cases, then your model is shot. Your system needs a whole reset. And that's what we've been doing for the last few years because they were masking the fact that it was a complete failure of a program. So they said, we'll have the government foot the bill. We'll have the government cover the difference in cost. And that way people don't realize how bad it is. And they did that during Biden's years in office because, they basically said, we don't want Joe to get blamed or his buddy Obama to get blamed. So we'll just have the taxpayer cover the cost. Well, now Republicans come in, they say, this is unsustainable. Like, oh, yeah, you want to just jack up people's health insurance costs. It's like, let's go back to chapter 1 here and talk about how we got here to begin with. And that is the crux of this shutdown now, going into day 9. Pete Mundo on KCMO. News in 2 minutes. Ask Mundo anything in 15 minutes. And the most bizarre sports story mixing in culture coming up next. So, speaking of betting and football, this is getting so ugly at North Carolina with Bill Belichick. The former, of course, Super Bowl winning coach with Tom Brady and the Patriots started playing or coaching, not playing. He's dating someone who could be playing, I guess. But he started coaching college football this year at North Carolina, and he's making $10 million a year. The Tar Heels stink. They're 2-3. They've had some terrible losses, and it's already a mess. Well, yesterday, reports came out that North Carolina has reportedly looked into exit strategies for Bill Belichick. 5 games into his tenure. The craziest part about this is, you can be the most casual college football and NFL fan, and you could have seen this before the ink was dry. You could have realized, this is not going to work. Belichick's an old-school, gruff NFL coach who wasn't even nice to Tom Brady. Guy was the ultimate D-bag in New England. The minute Brady leaves, he starts losing, and after a couple of years, after winning several Super Bowls, the owner of the team is like, all right, Bill, time to go. All right, we're done here. He takes a year off. He goes to college, which is all about schmoozing. It's all about, kissing babies and schmoozing up moms and making sure that, the kids are happy and mom's happy and auntie's happy and all these different people. That's part of it. It's almost more about that than it is X's and O's. And you thought that gruff Bill Belichick was going to enjoy that? Was going to have any interest in that? And then he's trotting around a 24-year-old girlfriend 50 years younger than him? And that wasn't going to be a total sideshow as well? So North Carolina has reportedly had preliminary conversations about firing Bill Belichick, which would be a whopping $20 million buyout as part of his contract. But they are trying to figure out a way to reduce or eliminate that buyout over alleged rules violations from Bill Belichick. So this thing could get ugly because Belichick has $20 million on the line here if they want to get rid of him. And they may try to find some technicality to not have to pay him. But the report goes on to add here, Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina's hierarchy, where he has signaled a willingness to trigger his own buyout for $1 million if he can find a soft landing with another team or in media. With all due respect, would you have any interest in watching Bill Belichick on TV?
Absolutely not.
I mean, he just mumbles. He's a mumbler. He's a miserable SOB. There's nothing about Bill Belichick that screams media personality or interesting. We all know why he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend, okay? They're each getting something out of it, and it's 2 very different things. But it's 2 of the things that drive people in life, sadly. And that is money and the other thing. That's it. It's gross. But where is Bill Belichick going to land in media? I mean, I don't know. If Bill Belichick came on this show, I'd probably be done after 3 minutes. I'd be like, this interview stinks. He's not saying, I mean, there would be nothing, and there's nothing interesting that comes out of that guy's mouth.
The only thing I could think of is if he does a show like Gruden used to do, where maybe he hosts a quarterback or something like that. Maybe a behind the scenes, not front of the camera type
I'm not denying that he's not a football genius, at least on defense. But Gruden's a personality. John Gruden is a hilarious personality. He's a caricature of himself in many respects now, John.
Hey, Bill, I need some insecticide. Aisle 5. That's about his speed, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing interesting about him. Now, if his girlfriend wants to go on TV, I mean, people might not be upset with that. But him? Oh, geez, stop.
And no one's going to hire him.
No,
as a coach.
No. I mean, the NFL basically blackballed him because they didn't want to deal with him. He did a terrible job. I mean, he was nothing. This guy is nothing without Tom Brady. Let's be honest. That's why Andy Reid is a much better coach than Bill Belichick. It's not even close. Andy Reid brings Donovan McNabb to a Super Bowl and multiple NFC championship games. Bill Belichick is a sub-500 coach without Tom Brady. Andy, it doesn't matter who his quarterback is. Donovan McNabb, Alex Smith, and now he's got an all-timer, and look what he's done the last few years, right? I mean, that's the sign of a great coach. That is not, or an all-timer. Bill Belichick was made by Tom Brady. Let's be very clear.
Yeah, it became a dynasty when he got one of the best quarterbacks.
Exactly. But he was still winning at a very high level with quarterbacks who, frankly, were largely mediocre.
Yep.
That's the reality. We also got yesterday college football coaching salaries. Those came out from USA Today. Highest paid coach, Kirby Smart at Georgia, $13.2 million. One of my buddies I saw post on social media yesterday about this. He said, I remember when Bill Snyder got a raise to $120,000 a year in the early 90s. And people in Manhattan were going nuts about it. You're going to pay the football coach $120,000 a year, right?
How dare you?
You can't do that. $13.2 million for Kirby Smart right now at the University of Georgia. Ryan Day, Ohio State, $12.5 million. Lincoln Riley at USC, $11.5 million. Dabo Sweeney at Clemson, $11 million. And same thing with Steve Sarkisian at Texas to round out the top five. I did see on this list, John's man, Drink. Eli Drinkowitz, number 11, making $9 million a year. Not too shabby. Not too shabby for your boy Drink there, John.
How about that? I'm not sure any of the... We'd have to go down the Doge efficiency chart on that pay scale. A couple of them fit. A couple of them seem right.
Well,
a couple others, they're like,
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney at 11.5.
Yeah.
They're not getting the bang for their buck. I'll tell you that right now. Lance Leipold at KU, $6.65 million. That is 37th in the country. And Chris Kleiman, $5.2 million. That is 46th in the country. So the two Kansas coaches, 37 and 46, respectively. There you go. Oh, my goodness, what a mess that is.